So you can use the colors of the chakras to read what's going on, but technically chakras are just a grayish, throw gray, right? That's why I asked you, so what are we teaching people? Because it's really important where we're coming from and who we're talking to, because there's different, it's kind of all the same, we're all trying to get to the same place, but there are different interpretations and understandings of what is what.
It's interesting you mentioned about the grade points. That was actually something I was going to go over today. That one of the things I had seen in one of these dream experiences, real side experiences, as we refer to them, was how people can kill themselves. And I was shown that I had all these little, like you're saying, these little grade points all over my body, all over my body. There wasn't just like a 7, right? It was like all over my body, and I was able to bring my true self, my awareness, the pure light of my being through my fingertips and put it into a points. And some points would shrink because they needed the healing, or they needed this tuna, like a tuna. And so I would put my fingers on them, and then I would drive that light in or bring it in, and they would expand, and they would be full, and I had all of them all over. So I'm nice that I got a little confirmation for that. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. That's a great validation.
But for you, I would like to recap, and for everybody on live, I don't know if there's anybody, but it'll be recorded in that. What I went over last time, my little piece that I said was about the body, the physical body, how it relates to your other bodies, because a lot of people, they think they're just a physical body, you know, and of course we see that that's not so. And so, on the real side of these dream experiences, when we see the parts of ourselves, like the feet, maybe, you know, people have these funny experiences. Well, I have big teeth. What does that mean? You know, why do I got big teeth? Why do I have excess hair? You know, and they see this in their dreams. And each part of the body relates to a specific body on the real side. In these dreams. Yes, in dreams. So in a dream, for example, if you say had something going on with your foot, that references the physical, because this is the closest to the ground. So whenever you have a dream and you see something with your foot, that's the physical realm. Whenever you see something from the ankle to the knees, that's more your astral body, your emotions, right? How you feel, the feelings that you have. And then from there up, about the knees to about the waistline is your causal. Your causal body, your memory, Akashic records, and things like that, karma, past lives. A lot of that is stored in this area. So whenever you have a dream and something's going on in this area, it's related to that body. And then from here to about the heart was the mental body, your mind, your thoughts, the literal part of yourself that wants the information. Right? That's.
Excuse me, she's trying to get on. She can find it.
She should be able just to go to your profile and.
Okay.
Who's on our roll?
Yeah, no, we're live. Yeah, we're live. Okay, are you ready?
So if you say that those names for sinners keeps in, and you guys at that point, I think it's one box in.
So I'll pick up where I left off.
So when we get it all under control.
Yeah, he's the guy. Yeah, he's the guy. Okay, so as I was saying, from about the waist to right above the heart, just right at the top of the heart right here. That's your mental body, so again, the information part of yourself. And then from your arms, when they're sticking out to the side like this, from here to the top of the head, that references your fifth body, the intuitive body. So something's going on in this area, you know that there's tap lines or these little energetic cords that you need to deal with in these particular areas, depending where you see the effect, which can show up like all kinds of things. Again, something with the feet, the big teeth, and then people don't understand why or what that relates to, you know. And then anything outside of yourself, above your head, sort of, let's say, is like your true self, that unseen part of yourself. That's something very subtle, like the air we breathe, is unseen. And that's what we're trying to get people to relate to, especially with the intuition, because that's closest. That's beyond the mind, that's beyond the emotions, that's beyond that. So that's a glimpse into what we presented last time. So if anyone else has anything to share, to add?
I'm not sure what you talked about, but yeah, I was going to go with the tap lines too. I was going to say about the interference, the tap lines are the interference, that keep you from being now, not the Eckhart Tolle now, but the real now, which is just now, which most people don't have a clue that they're not living in the present moment. They're living in their experiences somewhere in the past, thinking about the future, what they want to do, and not really paying attention to what's going on now. And that's very important, since, especially now, this time in the world, where the controllers are really amping up their funny business, and if you don't know what's going on, you're low on the survival scale. You're very low. And awareness is really the only way to combat or to manage that, what's going on in the world. It's a little bit about knowledge. Knowledge you need, but awareness supersedes knowledge in terms of using your intuition and the tools that you have available as a point of view or an awareness. Basically we're a point of view. We lose the physical body, your point of view somewhere. Most people are in the astral level point of view, because that's all they know is their emotional self and what they've created for themselves around the emotional kind of body. If they're more intellectual, they may go to a mental area, mental plane, like an Einstein, idea, considerations, things like that. But most people end up in the astral plane, because that's huge. The physical is huge, all of creation, but the astral is even more expansive. So people usually, when they pass over, they don't know what the hell's going on. You have friends and guides and things like that, but still, you're still basically encapsulated in the creation bubble. So it's either here, there, wherever, you're still somewhere in creation. But being now, or being in your real awareness, I think, which Jeremy hinted at, that gives you an even better chance of survival and better options about what you want to do and how you want to relate to the real life, or the real, what's going on. The real, we call it the isness, that it just is. Life just is.
The isness? Is that
Yeah,
what you just
isness.
said?
It just is. There's nothing you can say about it, nothing you can add to it. It's perfect. It's already, it's there, like the sun. The sun doesn't have like a love or freedom, all these ideas attached to it. It just is, it helps us survive and function in the physical. So we use sun as a reference a lot. But this isness, it's really cool the way it just is. So we help people to relate to this isness. How do you relate to isness? People relate to this thing called God, or these ideas of truth. These are all just ideas that people made up and agreed upon, but the isness just is. There's nothing you can say about it. It's not truth. Is the air we breathe truth? Is it love? No, but it helps us survive, the air. But it's invisible too. So the isness is invisible, That's why people can't relate to it, because it's something that cannot exist or possibly exist to them. But God can exist, because God is someone they can literalize and read about and things like that. That's easy. But the isness, no. That's why it's very difficult for people to grasp what we're sharing. And that's all we're doing, is sharing. We're not teachers. We're just sharing our experiences and what we're become aware of, you could say. So it's really cool the way it is, But you need good references, and you need, other people to kind of give you objective viewpoints. That's what you do with your work. And that's where people become more aware from that, and then can find their own way. We can't find your way for you, because you have your own way. Your own way, unique way of relating to this reality, and only you can fathom or recognize. We call it recognition. It's a recognition. It's like, oh, but it's an endless. There's not just one stopping point where you have it all. It's just an endless recognition, because life is becoming more aware of itself all the time. through us, you could say. You know, as we become more aware, it becomes more aware. That's why if we relate to it, then it gives you a bigger viewpoint, expansive viewpoint, and more survivability. So it's really cool the way it is. But most people are just stuck in their spiritual paths and their religions, and Now the psychics kind of they're kind of in between, They're not necessarily religious or spiritual in a way, so that, you have an advantage of some sort because you're familiar with the other dimensions, etc. So it's good that you're here. I mean, you could just get another viewpoint,
Yeah, same for me. That's learning it from you guys as well. No?
Anybody else?
Well, I wanted to add.
He's not here.
I wanted to add to what I was saying before, because this is going to be recorded, so for everyone here and the folks that watch later, that this real awareness, isness that's a part of everyone, that's really the key, the source, people, they draw an energy for these different things, and, but you draw from your own. And so really kind of what we're doing here too is teaching people how to heal themselves, how to really take care of themselves, more so than the doctors, more so than anybody else, people, but they really like to be babied, kind of taken care of. That's the big idea, especially with a lot of these social orders that take place. So what we're really hinting at for people is a self-sufficientness within themselves, because they have everything that they need within themselves through all their different bodies, and especially their real awareness, which they can become aware of. They can bring it more so into the physical, into their lives as it is here in creation. So what I was going to say about that is that this healing technique, to touch back upon that, and that everyone can do that for themselves. So that's really cool, that everyone has this natural ability to take care of themselves. We're set up this way, we're designed this way. So again, like what you were saying, it already is set up, like the plants, they have the sun, people have the air, everything's already taken care of. We just have to learn to see it, and it's that recognition and the experiences that we gain from our lives here, and the little struggles we go through. So that was my little piece I wanted to add.
That's why we focus on the environment, because that's closer to what is. It takes care of itself. Nature takes care of itself. So it's a model. It's a reference to something more real than the business world, which is all totally made up to control people, and it's not what it seems. It seems to help people, but it's to control people, manipulate them, and keep them here in creation.
It doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't have to be. See, all this doesn't have to be.
Fear-based, a lot of fear-based.
Exactly.
It's human, basic. Basic human. Fears and concerns.
They thrive on the fear people have, and they generate more fear by scaring people and channeling them into certain areas that they control. It's all about their control. So
In the agreement to the control.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? I mean, we use money to buy things at stores, and everybody's got their polluting cars and the things that they consume. It's all agreement. But a lot of the time we reference the more natural living, like the Native Americans from 200 years ago, even people now doing it. They're living in these self-sufficient communities, all natural, and that's kind of what we're trying to get people to, this all natural. I'm not saying that anything is negated or, certain things are bad or shouldn't be done. It's just that, taking a look at what's going on and not taking it for granted, saying that this is life. This is just the way that it is, and there's nothing else. That there is a lot more. There's so much more that is unseen that we can consider and we can't consider. So.
The cool thing is we're not, like you said, not negating anything. We're not rebelling, We're not protesting. Alternative, yes. Alternative, what are you going to agree to that's better for yourself and others? rather than agreeing to the demise of the planet. So it's not about negating what they're doing, the controllers. They can do what they want, but we don't have to agree to it. Trouble is, most people are agreeing to it because they've been indoctrinated through lifetimes coming back, and these controllers are reptilians, so they have longer lifespans, so they see how the social consciousness is progressing and they can manipulate it certain ways, and then indoctrinate people into coming back and agreeing to them even more and more.
Psychology, marketing.
Exactly.
The lemming theory.
What's that?
Lemmings. Lemmings is, does anyone know what a lemming is? It looks like a chipmunk, and when the queen, lemming or king, if they were to jump off of a cliff, all of the followers, whether it's 5 or 5 million, will also jump off the cliff. So the lemming theory is when you can get a large amount of people to sign up for something that's against their best interest, for example, alcohol, cocaine. Alcohol is very socially accepted. They've created a storyline that says alcohol is fine and it should be a part of almost everything that you do, right? It's cool, it's acceptable. So the lemming theory of the psychology, now you have all these people drinking, taking on, oh, well, it's Sunday, it's Super Bowl football, it's my birthday, it's Christmas, doing something that's against their best interest, but the overarching program, like you're talking about, is this is normal, this is social, this is what you do, it's cool, relax, kick back. So this is just an
Exactly.
I think this is what you're saying, right? Essentially.
Yeah. And they've done a good job.
How are we going to lead people to, right?
That's where your intuition comes in. Because, like you're saying, there's these preconditioned, preconceived attitudes and ideas, these lenses that people wear that they see the world through.
Sure.
They can't see through them, right? So you're looking like the alcohol, like anything that people do.
And I just use that as an example.
Yeah. Just, but again, anything that people do, the social, within the families, within groups of friends, there's these different little attitudes. It starts from a bigger picture and it trickles down to an aspect of control in everything that people do, in every way of life here. And so, again, showing people another way, that's the intuitive part. That's the part that people don't look to because, again, when you go through the system, when you go through the schools, the literalized systems that have been created, like these overarching storylines, you see the world a certain way, and the way that you're seeing it is already in agreement with what it is that they want you to see. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that they've written out for you. And you're trying to figure out, well, why and how come? There's no why and how come with that, because it's all the same. It's all the same in any way because it's preconceived for our destruction. And it's agreed upon. So that's really where the intuition is very important, because that shows people something else. And when people see something else, then they ask the question, well, what is that? Well, why and how come and what's going on? Why am I here? And that's really the real awareness, because that real awareness light filters through the other bodies. That's the only reason this physical realm is so. So the intuition being closest to the real awareness, when we get these little hints, why and how come and so on, that's big. That's big. That's a leaping off point for a lot of people. And so even things like this, just the information for people at least will get them started. So.
Yeah, again, we're not negating family and drinking on your birthday or something. It's not about that. It's about, just seeing it for what it is and maybe backing up a little bit, being more objective and seeing how you're agreeing to certain things, which again doesn't mean it's bad. It's just, okay, I'm agreeing to it, but you're doing it consciously and not subconsciously. And most people are being controlled subconsciously from these tap lines. They don't see that, but most of the control is subconscious. Because you see people waking up, they say, oh yeah, the controllers are chemtrails, the rays going to Hawaii, the lasers and all that, laser fire. They're seeing things going on, but they don't know what to do with it. So what? The controllers see that, they don't know what to do, but their intuition and singing the new you, which I'll introduce, is something that you can do to get you say, even a better position for yourself. It's positioning, you know. So the intuition, and then you. This is like breaking the egg and seeing, you know, what's really going on. It's like a mantra. You could say a mantra. Or it's replaces all the other mantras like Om and all these other things that worked for a while, but they've been infected by the controllers. So this life is giving us this new sound that we can use to break the consciousness, the molds that we have created for ourselves. It's new, you. Before bed, 10 minutes before bed, see what happens, you know, what life shows you, but it's something you can utilize to break out even more. Because, you know, you're aware, I mean, you could tell you've had a lot of experiences, you've done your homework and all that, so this is another step you could take to see more even, and to be, you know, have more potential. Because creation is very tricky. It's very seductive. It's can trap you at any level. I mean, even the gurus are trapped. The so-called spiritual masters. Jesus, he got carried away with his psychic abilities and started doing miracles. I mean, all these people that we think of as highly spiritually developed, I mean, they're still trapped as well in their own way. I mean, he created karma for himself, and he's got all these people following him. Now, you know, what they took with his message, maybe he was sincere and etc. And I know a lot of his messages were distorted by the controllers, but he himself too got trapped in the miracle stuff and doing certain things to attract people. And so there's a lot to this, is what I'm saying. There's a lot to understand and to recognize what's going on. So it's very tricky, and you can get sucked down into creation very easily. So focus is very important, just to keep focused on what's real. And the new you helps you to get focused. It's not a hocus pocus like you sing new you and you get more money or you whatever, you heal yourself. But it's a start, to start opening up to your potential. So that's one thing. Intuition is the other thing. Listening to your intuition, what you're doing, you're teaching it. So you've got a handle on it. So, but the new you is another tool we're giving you to utilize. Because there's many ways to approach this. So yes. New you is for this day and age right now, this moment, that's a big key. It's a huge key, to try to see, what life shows you. Who knows? It's something you can utilize.
Okay, well, I don't really know what I can add because you said it all already, very succinctly and well articulated.
Do you have dreams? Do you have any dreams to share?
I dream every night, so I work in my dreams as well.
Okay.
And I'm aware of what I'm doing. I also do astral travel. Like I could astral travel right now consciously, right? So there's practices you can do there. So there's different understandings of what soul travel, astral travel, intuition, even intuition. The intuition as far as the pituitary gland, right? And then there's the clairvoyance, the clairaudience, the clairsentience. Who is actually communicating with you? So identifying when you're getting these messages, when you're doing inspirational speaking, when you have things just flowing through you, right? Throughout the years of the training, we have learned that there is specific guides working with us, and they will work with you. They will work with your muscles. They'll work with your brain. They'll work with your vocal cords. They'll work with you in your sleep. They'll put thoughts in your mind. They'll put feelings in your body. There's a lot of different things that you can tap into, but it always comes back to who is actually communicating with you. The pituitary gland, so we want to be clear with people, because there's the general idea of intuition, which is your gut feeling, right? The mainstream can accept gut feelings, They can accept, oh, I thought about someone and they called me. They can kind of accept deja vu, even though they're not sure what it is. These are things that they can lean into just a little bit, despite their religious background or whatever that is, because everyone's had some sort of experience to a certain degree, right? Even at the clinic I work, it's mostly Orthodox Christians, or Christians and Orthodox from Russia. So I'm dealing with people with very indoctrinated programming. And I can see where it actually affects their health. But another rule is non-interference. So we don't want to go in and push and force things, because when you look at things intuitively, when you're in touch with the messengers on the other side, you're communicating with them. There's an initiation. Once you start communicating with them more, they will identify to you who they are. The hierarchy will start letting you in, okay? If we're just operating from intuition here, and you're getting messages, right, in your sleep, everything that you were saying is messages. So your work is who's actually communicating with me, right? Who's communicating with me?
How are you?
Hi.
This is Emma,
Hi,
Nicole,
Emma.
Jeremy, and Kevin. And this is Val. Did you bring cookies first?
Yeah.
Okay, we have cookies later.
Okay. I cannot stay too long because I'm going to Rosarito.
Okay. Stay as long as you can.
So identifying where information is coming from is really important, and that helps us protect ourselves too. And so, because essentially we want to give people tools, right, that they can practice, awareness tools, yeah. And so just understanding the different degrees of intuition. When you're doing readings and you're reading people, and we're doing mediumship readings and communicating with the side that passed, we're not using our pituitary gland. This is a misunderstanding. A lot of the visions that we're getting is not necessarily just the pituitary gland. And to the point with the Christians, when they're in a healing position, I'll say, and they become a little bit more relaxed, they will start to talk about visions that they've had, that they ignored, premonitions. And so there's ways, people are having experiences. I think for us as a group, understanding fundamentally what intuition is and the different practices around that. And then for you, what I see is you're getting information, and what I wanted to tell you is you can work with your spirit guides, because they're usually masters, and so they will give you ways that you can help people. They will give you new ways of looking at information, like you were saying, the feet is the ground, and then here is a different type of channel, here is another type of channel, here we have the books of records, the Akashic records, right? So you can create a whole system, which it seems like you're doing with your spirit teachers, to help people channel the information in that way. But it doesn't mean that it's the only way, it's like we were talking about before. But it is important to understand where the information is coming from, because there are interceptors. Sometimes it's our thoughts, sometimes it can be very confusing. It's a big responsibility to teach people about intuition, right? So we want to be very, very, keep ramping up the self-awareness, and never forget that we are getting information from our teachers. We have to respect the spiritual world that's giving us this information in our dreams, in our waking moments. Yeah, even as we're sitting here right now, there's stuff going on all the time. That's what
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you recognize Bebas Tars? Who's here? Bebas Tars?
I can't say that I do.
That's what I was gonna say. You can go. I'll pull up a picture of him. I wish we would have printed something of him to show you one of the guides that we work with. That's we refer to them as the real universal guides, or the golden guides. That the reason the universal is because they are on all levels. They're even to the real universes with people's real awareness. They can relate to anybody. It doesn't matter what your background, things like that. It's totally universal, totally free and clear. So we wanted. I wish we would have got a picture.
I want to see.
Yeah, that's why little ragtag. Let me show you off my phone. Let's see the picture here. Let's see.
And again, you're not worshipped, or they're just around, you know, for people who are willing to listen to something that makes sense and is real.
That's Rebisar. Rebisar. And then there's Paul, Frubi, Gopal, Lai Chi. There's Ramanu, Shamis, and all these
Healers.
Huh?
Healers, cosmic healers. Even still, we all have our own guides that are very specific to us, very personal to us.
Mm-hmm. And Kevin, you were going to start something? Or were you?
I don't know. I don't know what to add to it, to be honest.
Well, she was talking about interference. You've had a lot of interference on the real side. She was talking about her dreams and being clear.
I know
Kevin's a lot of experiences with interference and
it's the one
on the dream state, you know, the real side we call it. I mean, with people trying to block us and harm us, etc. So.
Like online, where you're recording things?
On the real side, but specifically.
It's the real side.
And then the physical, yeah.
And the physical, right?
Yeah, I've gotten things, I mean, this is another part of the intuition, you know, people can learn to mitigate a lot of the effects like the Wi-Fi, like the chemtrails, you know, that this has an effect on the physical body, but we can mitigate that through awareness. So
Sure.
you can become aware of these things, and you still have to deal with the physical body. It's still going to have impact because we're here in the physical realm, we can't negate that. But as you become more aware, you can deal with these things. You're more able, you're more aptly, more readily capable of the things that you can do, the things that you can see. That recognition plays a big part in your resilience, and the resilience that you've had.
And we encourage people to face up to their fears and face everything life shows us. And it's most people are into the thing where you're going to go to a happy hunting ground, or you finally reach heaven or some happy place with your family or whatever, your dog. But life is actually, that can happen and people do that, but life is actually more than that, where you become more and more aware and more, you know, basically into life and into what life is. And that's really the adventure of life. You can go to the happy place idea, but again, after a while, even millions of years, you get bored, you know? I mean, like, isn't there something, there must be something else. Even though you can stay there practically forever, but there's always something else which people don't recognize. There's always something else. Life is always more than you think it is. Like Jeremy mentioned, it's unknown is more than the known. So even what you know, there's so much more that you don't know. So if you're in your happy place and think you've reached nirvana, well, there's more, you know, even though what you think or feel or recognize, there's more. So that's the cool thing for me, at least. There's more adventure to this thing than just feeling good or, you know, going to heaven. There's more. It's more adventure. And, you know, practically people like adventures, you know, that's why we watch movies. We watch Mission Impossible and all these cool movies, and even romantic movies, you know, but there's more, you know, there's just more that people don't know how to access, and that's what we're sharing, and you too, itself. But Emma, did you have any more dreams?
I have a dream, but
okay.
I wake up and I forgot the dream.
Okay.
I just remember there was some guy in there, I don't know him, but totally my dream disappeared when I wake up. And I try to remember, but no way.
That's all right, they come and go.
Yeah. We always have more. There's always more.
Uh-huh.
You can write it down. I don't know if you try to do that. Or Kevin has some, you know, some ways he techniques he remembers his dreams.
Yeah, well, Before I came to the new presentation and I got involved with connecting to the real awareness that I am through the New You song, I would be involving myself with various other means of accessing the other dimensions, one of which would be through lucid dreaming and astral projection. And so lucid dreaming, although can be a little limited, it does, however, you can actually learn a lot of very valuable techniques for dream recollection. And for example, I mean, it's very simple really, but just prior to when you go to sleep and just at the moment of waking, you're in a state which they refer to as hypnagogia. And this is where your consciousness of mind and emotions is actually aside, and you actually are in your intuitive real awareness place or position. And then, of course, when you fully wake up, you're then activating the mind and emotions, now moving yourself back into your personal self-consciousness and therefore disconnecting from the real awareness. It's still there because the real awareness is actually that which you are, but you are removing yourself more into your personal self through the activation of the body form mechanics, the mind and emotions, and even the imagination to an extent. And so the best place for dream recollection, or as we refer to them as real side experiences, would be in this state of hypnagogia where the consciousness is placed aside. Because what we tend to practice is we refer to it as the nowness of the real awareness. Because if you step into the nowness of your real awareness, true being self, that is a practice where you are putting the mind and emotions aside, the consciousness, and therefore you are now accessing that which you are, which is connected to the everything that there is, which we refer to as the all is. And so a good practice on waking is to maintain this state of hypnagogia for as long as you are able, and then to allow the real side experiences or the dreams to drift in. Because the moment you start activating the mind and emotions, Dwayne often referred to it as a stone hitting the water, the ripples come out and obscure your ability to recollect them. And when I used to do my astral projection practices, and I still do have some that fire off inadvertently because the practice is so ingrained that it will sometimes happen of its own accord. I found that in order to astral project, for an example, I would actually place myself in this nowness, real awareness is this everything position with the consciousness of mind and emotion put aside in order to facilitate my being able to project my body vehicle onto the other dimensional life levels. And again, so it became rather a practice to maintain this, what I call the in-between state, which is rather a state which bridges your personal self, physical level consciousness, and your real awareness. Everything is this nowness position, that which we really are. And through that position maintained, so it is actually facilitates a good launching facility to be able to get onto the other dimensions of life. And also that is the place where you're most likely to recollect your dream experiences. So simply a case of practicing maintaining this nowness position aside from all thought and emotion, rather than constantly in a state of mind and emotion activation. And so that is the best tip for real side recollection. It's quite interesting. I mean, touching on astral projection very briefly, what I've come to determine is that really the mechanism of astral projection is no different to the mechanism of dreaming or real side experiences. You're just using a different facility or different mechanic to get you to effectively what is the same destination. The only difference is, what I've come to determine is when you go to the real side, you are moving your view through, because you are this everything real awareness which is animating through all consciousness as it affects into all body forms and all creational dimensional positions, of which there are 5, generally speaking. And so what you're doing on the real side, you're simply moving your view through. You're simply moving your view through mechanics your awareness already is through already. It's almost like the equivalent of switching through various virtual reality headsets, and the virtual world's a effect from the mechanics through the consciousness, as the analogy goes. And so with the astral projection, what you are doing, as I've come to determine, is that you're basically creating a temporary vehicle, and you're as though smashing it through the auric field. And this then, your awareness rides in this astral vehicle and will then take you to the other, whichever dimension it is take you to. Generally it will be the astral, and the reason why they call it astral projecting is because most will go to the astral. By virtue of that is where most will be focused. Most will be physical, astral focused, but there's no reason why you can't go to the mental or the causal levels, or even the ethereal. But I say the problem with doing that is, or at least one danger is, as you punch holes through your aura through this astral projection practice, you can actually create conduits which other beings can utilise to encroach on your physical level, on the physical level. And I have had a lot of personal experiences where I have facilitated the means by which entities can actually encroach on my physical level experience and cause the mischief that they do, to the point where it was necessary the guides had to step in and shut down these portals that I'd created through my auric field. And rather long-winded answer to your question, but I would say basically to remember real side experience or dreams, you simply have to more so be in the practice of putting the mind and the emotions aside, and then with that aside you are now in your intuitive self, which is the nearest position to your real awareness, which is basically oversight of everything creational. And when it comes to recollection, your mind memory only has certain capacity, like a computer. When it comes to your real awareness, everything that you are, that has access to everything that's occurring in creation, because this is the isness, everything is animating through it all. And so from that position you can access far more than you can with your more limited personal self-memory body position.
Short answer.
That was the short answer.
That was the short.
Yeah.
Nicole, do you have any techniques to remember dreams?
Techniques to remember.
Yeah, for Emma,
dreams.
maybe.
Say yes to what he said, and then it's like a muscle you have to practice in the morning. Waking, or if you wake up at all in your sleep, or you wake up from a dream, even if you remember just a small part of it, as soon as that comes in, you have to write it. It's the practice of the pen to the paper or pencil to the paper as soon as the thought comes in, and not like, oh, you remember, oh, I'll write that down in a couple hours, or I'll write that down when I wake up in the morning. In that moment. And even if it doesn't make sense eventually, because essentially what you're doing is inspirational writing, which is you're in a state of trance almost, right? So eventually these things add up, but that's the practice. And I'm telling myself this too, because I can be lazy when I'm a little bit, sometimes I'm slow to write things down. But it does build the muscle, and it starts to bring in this present awareness in the material, and then you're working that in your brain. Like he was saying, removing the emotions, so then you're in the, so then when you're, I'm gonna look at you when you're dreaming.
What is it?
Because you're being taken on, you are actually traveling, and I see you're being guided to places, so you are very unconscious when you're dreaming a lot of times, I can see that. But you're in some really good places, and you're getting some very good information. Sometimes this information isn't meant to be remembered when you wake up, but it will come in different times of your life. All of a sudden, you'll have an answer to something, and you'll have no idea why, how you knew that. A lot of that stuff will come in when you're in these different states of travel, but the pencil to paper for you is really important. And I see a Bible, I don't know why, but the pencil to paper, writing these things down. Slowly but surely, you're putting these pieces together. That's what I see for you.
But like you say, I'm slow in writing.
It's okay.
But yeah, it's a good idea
Yeah.
to have a pencil.
Even if it's one word, even if you wake up and you remember the image of a Care Bear, whatever that is, as time goes on, it's going to start to, you're building, it's a tapestry. And a lot of the times, like this information, it's subtle, like someone was talking earlier, it's subtle like the wind, but I like what I see for you in your dreams, actually. There's a lot of work happening in your dreams. Congratulations. It'll come for you. It's coming. Even this conversation, you're walking away with a gift.
Well, what I've been learning the day that I came in today is that I'm more aware that it's just, like me, that I wake up, I do things, I'm ready to come and Saturday and sell, but like you say, it's more. And now my brain is like, oh yeah, I want to know, It's it's like, wake up, it's more to see or more to be aware of people, because now people sometimes you cannot, even if you say hi, the other person is not in the mood, it's like, oh my God, what I say? I just say hi. Yes.
That's why the controllers, they want more, but they're so limited in their consciousness by what they're doing. Is that, they're bored, so they start torturing people, and they have all the money they want, whatever, they have everything they want, but they want more, subconsciously they want more, but they don't know how to access it. So they get funny. They have these funny ideas, start wars, torture people, make people suffer and watch them squirm. That's their entertainment, because they don't know how to go further, because they've gotten everything from the physical and creational realm. They kind of know how to maneuver the physical and creational.
Sometimes both, though, don't be fooled. A lot of them also know how to work in the other dimensions as well. Yeah.
Totally. That's what the reptilians are, shapeshifters and physical astral, yeah. That's why I asked Kevin, because he has a lot of experience with them. Reptilians and other beings that, try to impede and interfere with what we're doing. And he sees it. I don't see it as much in the fit, but he sees it on the real side all the time. And so he comes back, and that's what's good about people and share, because we all are part of the experience then. I'm part of your experience. I'm part of his experience now. So, and we all share. That's what sharing. We're sharing, being objective with each other, and that's very valuable. So people go to see psychics and intuitives like you, because they get an objective viewpoint. It's not that you're healing them, but they just get a bigger viewpoint in a way, so they can heal themselves or see more.
It's definitely a healing.
That
Even
objective
having a conversation like this is a healing.
Yeah, the objective viewpoint is the healing in a way. Just to see it. Oh, there's another way of looking at it.
Yeah, or there's reassurance. When you can give people comfort that there is a spiritual world, there's something about that for them that just, even they spent their life going to Bible school, and they know the Bible, whatever religion you practice. I say Bible because we're in Mexico and it's very Catholic. That's one part of it, but there's still. I lost where I'm at. Sorry, I lost that.
Well, it's being okay. We're just trying to help people be okay.
Yeah.
Everything's okay.
They want to know that it's going to be
It's
okay.
okay.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just okay.
That there really is.
That's the best you can do. That's okay. That's a lot to be okay. Most people are seeking something, their next thrill or something, more money, better job, better health. But if you're just okay, that's a big biggie,
Death is a big one. People are really afraid of death right now, especially. They're afraid of where things are going. Mm-hmm. It's a big change. So
being okay is being willing to face anything, and not just be okay with facing anything life shows you. But the more you're aware, then the better are you to handle it, whatever life shows you. Because kind of eventually you're going to be facing the whole world and creation, just like the real guides that we talk about, like Rebbe's Artars. They're facing everything. They're willing to face everything. That's why they're so aware, because they're not just stuck in one viewpoint. They're willing to face everything and manage
They're
it.
not dealing with, the spirit side doesn't deal with temptations of the flesh like we do. So there is an advanced awareness, but they don't have the same struggles. They are to help us, they do want to help us do better in life and to navigate through human experience better. And so they understand, and to the side of it, they don't get to taste ice cream like we get to taste ice cream, you know. But they're also not subject to those different emotions and things like that control us. I would say, though, a big part of, at least for me, and I try to, and I look for this, I also work in the music business, which is a very big ego business, and I try to incorporate health into music, which is not easy as well. But a big thing I look at is where are people at in their awareness of why they're here? And that's really important. So when you're in alignment with your spiritual, why you came into this life, what you're working out on a spiritual, what you came here to do, then everything else, at least for me, I'll just speak for myself, everything else, this is how I can face things, because I'm like, there's purpose, and then there's also a sense of responsibility, right? Am I co-creating this? But just understanding why you're here is really, really helpful, and it can take away fear, even in the face of death. So
That's key. That's key.
That's key.
Yeah. Maybe we got a little bit over an hour, so we're going to kind of end it. But maybe you can share why we're here, and maybe Kevin can share why we're here.
Well, there's something I wanted to touch upon really quick before we go. That about you saying that people want these better jobs and they want these things, and that comfort that people get when they realize that there's something else besides, I mean, just this. There's that, how you refer to the spiritual side, or we would say the real side, however it is that you choose to see it, that's that guarantee that people are looking for. People really want a guarantee. They want to know that everything's okay. Am I okay? And what's going on that they can't see for themselves. That's why, like you said, down here it's very big, like Catholicism, right? And people are very kind of traditional in that sense. That because that gives them the guarantee that no matter what, I'll be okay. Yes, it's straight up. There's, that's
check the boxes, did all the things.
Yeah. But see, what we're presenting here is that you create your own guarantee. If you decide to stay with a lot of these old things, then that's what you'll have. Is that you decide what your life is. Like coming here, this is a choice. This is a big choice, bigger than some might realize. This is huge. Even just sharing and whatever you take away and you tell others, that's a decision in itself, and not to do it is a decision. There's your guarantee. That's the guarantee. You decide what your life is. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And how you see it. So that was.
It's a big part for sure, because we fall into what you were saying, like with the victim, like we don't have control over the controllers are controlling.
Yeah, they want you to be dependent on them.
Absolutely. So essentially we're trying to empower people.
Yeah.
Remind people that they are the deciders. They are the deciders. People forget. They forget. It's easy to forget. That's why we're here. We forgot.
Yeah.
Can I ask you really quickly,
Yeah.
how you feel about because there's this kind of be less. There is a thought about when they say, blessings, blessed, be blessed. It's kind of like you're under God, because even in Catholicism, right, Jesus is here and everyone else is here. Even Mother Mary is like a piece of shit. So, I'm just being funny, but also a lot of pastors will...
Don't say it when it's a lot of people, because here is a lot of people that believes in the Virgin Mary.
Oh yeah, I love her very much. I work with her very closely. But in the religious aspect, he's up here and everyone is kind of underneath him, right? That's how they put him up there. Even like Prophet Muhammad and all the other ascended masters, they're just under Jesus. Jesus is the God. He's the only God. He's the Son of the only God. And that's cool. Like you were saying, they created that kingdom.
Yeah, we're,
Well, sorry to interrupt.
We're going.
The blessed, we don't get into that because that's, like you said, it's right in there, like be less, or when you say,
Right, be less.
divine, die on the vine. There's these they're telling you right there, but see, that's a part of the intuition. Because if you're looking at it like, okay, literal, the word, what's the definition, then that's how you're going to see, and that's according to what they've decided for you. You forgot. But now you have a choice to see it for what it is. Right.
good morning. Oh, it's good to more. Wisdom.
I never really thought about that. Good morning.
Dummy, it's all over the place.
Freedom. Yeah.
It's in everything. It's in everything.
Wow.
Last say, Kevin.
Coca-Cola, the real thing.
Oh, that stuff. What is it? Rust off the pipes.
Coca-Cola, the real thing. McDonald's, come to America. We have golden arches. Yeah.
That's the image that they sell.
I see this video in the face, and it's like they having the humans like a pigs. And then it's a guy feeding the pigs that are humans, and they have a big thing. They have McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, all the bad stuff feeding the pigs, the humans. And I say, oh my God, that's true. It's because all those things, they're not good for your body.
It affects your intuition as well, a lot of the food. Even a lot of the stuff will crystallize the pituitary gland and things like this. Up and down, up and down. So much, huh?
That was cool.
That was
great.
great.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for coming
Thanks for
again.
hosting this space.
Thank you. Thank you.
Does that bring us to about the time?
Yeah. Enjoy. There's water and cookies up here, Nicole, if you want.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, I'll take those cookies.
All in the line.
So
Then
nice.
maybe,
I don't know who's here, but thank you all for watching. If anyone's
do you have a Facebook?
Intuitive Seeing Survival Sessions at Puerte Valle Community Room in La Mission to get in touch with your intuition. The so-called mysteries of a person's dreams have always intrigued many who are unaware of what is actually taking place while a person's physical body is sleeping. The dream idea was invented, just like conspiracy theory, by those who control others, as a means to keep unaware people and other body types away from knowing their so-called dreams actually refer to another dimension, a portal, an opening, to start to wake up to more than just struggling and suffering as slaves in creation. If you want to access your intuitive ability, then participate in our monthly event at Puerte Valle Community Room in La Mission. Contact Val Vitols at 408-990-6627. 408-990-6627.